Hey everyone, Joe Menza here, and I'm back again doing another painting using the Daniel Smith palette of colors. These are the half pans, the 24 colors. I really like this set. It gives you a nice variety of colors, and they're very, very rich, deep colors. And I'm using it on the Canson XL. This is like an 11 by 14 sheet. And I'm putting on a little ultramarine blue, and I used a little bit of whatever red was on that palette, just to try to do a little warmth in the sky. So if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I should preface it by saying this is a fast and loose method intended for you to be more accessible to watercolor and to show you that there's an easy way to go about it. This is for hobbyists. These are people that want to have fun and learn an easy, approachable way to doing watercolors. This is not intended to be something where I'm showing you how great I am at painting. Otherwise, these videos, they would not be, 10, 15 minutes long. This is to show you quick and easy, approachable ways to have fun painting watercolor. If you want to become an expert and you want to win, contests in watercolor and become the World Watercolor Society and all that, and maybe go to juried, competitions and that, this is probably not the channel for you to watch. If you are looking for the best watercolor painter on YouTube, this is probably not the best channel for you to watch. This is for people, again, who want to have fun, enjoy themselves, not have a lot of pressure or stress, and relieve some anxiety in the process. And that's what I'm doing here. That being said, I have won contests in watercolor, and I have sold over 175 paintings, and I have been commissioned to do paintings. But those types of things are not necessarily the things that I'm going to do on this channel to try to show viewers in 15 minutes or less how much fun it is to paint with a large brush. I'm trying to find the easiest ways to paint things like here with this mountain. And in this mountain, you can see I've put a little extra color in there. And I'm going to show you how you can lift paint to make it look like there's a lighter side, a darker side. And you can play with the paint and make this look more dimensional. You can make it look like it has snow on it without actually using paint. These are one of the many ways that I've found to do things. And I've looked at many places to see what is the easiest possible way, because watercolor is a very challenging medium. You can see I've added a little bit of color of this, and then I blend that in and lift it. And now we've got a sort of dimensional type of mountain here. When I first started, I enjoyed watercolor so much in the beginning, and I still do, that I said, I'm, midlife doing this painting, and it's so enjoyable. I think others should want to share and join in it too. And that's why I decided to start sharing what I learn along the way. I've only been painting for about 5 years. I think it takes at least 10 before you become, anyone that's considered a master or any of this kind of thing. But I'm not out to do that. I am out to show you and have fun with the channel and have fun with showing people and have a group of artists who are all having fun and all on the same journey. This is not a, hey, look at me channel by any means. This is a, hey, look at what you can do. You'll notice I've started adding some foliage with some green. I like to use undersea green. I like to use sap green. Sap green by itself I don't like to use so much. But the undersea green is a really nice green. Now you can make greens. The thing I found about making greens is you start going through a ton of ultramarine blue and a ton of yellow. So if you can find a green that you can doctor slightly and use the green, you'll go through a lot less yellow and blue. Those are the two colors you're going to go through a ton if you're using the Ron Ranson basic set of 7 colors. Now here I'm using the Ron Ranson brush to make a quick evergreen using the side of the brush. Again, a quick, fun way to do this. I don't have the patience to sit down and really do a painting that's why I don't really do the oil unless I put it to the side, but I have a lot of projects. I work full-time and I have projects at work. I have projects in my house that never get done. I don't need a hobby that the projects take weeks and months to complete. I want to sit down. I want to do a complete painting, wet into wet, alla prima. And I want to be done and put it to the side. And that's a completed painting. And each time I do it, I do want to learn and get a little bit better. But I want to do and get better within this style of painting, which is the fast and loose method with the big brush. It's all about doing shapes. And you can come up with different compositions and color schemes that look good. You know, if you look at abstract, there's abstract landscapes or semi-abstract or impressionism. They really very little focus on details as well. So if you are comparing, say, one artist to another artist, art is very subjective. So in my opinion, when you say this artist is better than this artist, or, different people are different set skill levels. So no one should ever be intimidated to share their work. If you're putting your work out there and you're saying, I want $10,000 for this painting, and nobody buys it, that's something to sit down and consider. But if you're sitting down, you're making a painting and you're saying, I like this about this, and then you move on to your next painting, and you enjoyed the process. I mean, watercolor is a very accessible medium because the cleanup, the safety of the paint, depending on what you use, as long as you stay away from like cadmiums and stuff like that. But like Cotman paint is very safe. Your brushes wash out with water. And if you spill a little bit of paint, as long as it's not the staining, you can get it off. You could wipe it off. There's no odor virtually. And so it's a very accessible medium to be able to do. When I first started doing this, I didn't even know that watercolor paint came in a tube. I had this little set of like little cakes. And I said, this is kind of fun. After I had tried oil and I didn't like the smell, I said, this is kind of fun. I think I'd like to keep doing this. I said, I'm going to go on YouTube. And I'm going to see, I bet you there's people out there that are really, really good with watercolor paint. Probably I haven't even considered. And I found Frank Clark, who was really good. He had passed away in the last year, sadly, but he was really good at teaching you the basics. And then, of course, I found Stephen Cronin, David Usher. Fantastic. These guys have really, they've carried on in the Ron Ranson tradition as well, of this fast and loose, sort of video format style. And so that's when I got into it. And now I'm about 5 years in, and I'm still trying to find different ways, different color combinations, because there's no one way, one right way to do something. It's art. You can fling things at there's one person on here that does acrylic. They have a really unique, they put little dots they have a lot of subscribers. They put little dots of acrylic paint, and then they take and they spread it out. Almost looks like that candy you used to eat back in the day. It came on a piece of paper, and you'd bite off the candy on the paper. I forget what they call that. And then invariably, you'd eat the little paper. Just, and it wasn't good tasting candy, really. But it reminded me of that, with those little dots on the thing and spreading it out. And you know what you find? Oftentimes, it's the technique that people see how it's done that makes you want to try it. It's not that you look at a painting and you go, gee, I'd love to paint something like that. But you see someone doing something and you go, hey, I can do that. That's the part that gets you. That's the Bob Ross type of thing where you watch what he does and you say, that looks easy, I can do it. Little do you know, it takes years and years and still a lot of practice to get that method down. But I think this method here is very approachable. I think within a few paintings, you'll really have the success, and you're not putting a lot of money into it. Like I say, you can go to Walmart or one of these places. You can spend $20. You can get a pad of paper, a little set of paint, and a brush, and start fooling around and decide if you even like it, if it's stress relieving, et cetera, et cetera. And I've kind of refined mine down. I use the Ron Ranson brush. I use a fan brush and a rigger brush. Try to keep it minimalistic. And I don't use really expensive paper. Now I use the Daniel Smith paints because I really like the pigment in them. But you can use less expensive. You go to Michael's, their house paint is like $3.99 a tube without a coupon for their Artist Loft paint. And it's decent. And then you can spend another $1. You can get Daler-Rowney. And then I think you can go up another $1 or $2 from there, and you can get individual tubes of the Cotman watercolor paint. Or you can still buy a set. You can still buy a 12-tube set at the time I recorded this around $20 from Michael's. And so it's very accessible. You don't have to go out and buy an easel. You don't have to go out and buy a palette. You can use a paper plate, and you can just have 1 or 2 brushes, pad of paper, and a small palette of colors. And you're on your way. And that's what these videos are for. There's no way you're going to do... there's a guy out there, I think his name is Morris Katz. Look him up. I'm pretty sure that's his name, Morris Katz. He passed away a few years ago, but he's a guy in New York. He used to do these oil paintings, and he used to do the fastest oil paintings he could do within I think he's in the Guinness World Book of Records for oil painting. He could do a complete oil painting in a minute and a half or something, crazy thing. Very fun to watch this guy. It makes you want to pick up. He used toilet paper. He'd grab big old gobs of toilet paper and he'd mash it around. You think Bob Ross and Bill Alexander are fast painters? Watch this guy, Morris Katz. Look him up on YouTube. And I'm sure the last name is Katz, but K-A-T-Z, I believe. And watch how fast this guy paints. Well, here's the finished painting. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.